Hi guys, it's me Beth. Welcome to another episode of Read Remark. Today we're going to talk about 3 good books that made it to the Morning News' 2017 long list in the Tournament of Books. Today we're going to talk about 3 good books that made it to the 2017 Tournament of Books for the Morning News. What in the world is that? I'll tell you. So every year the Morning News puts out a list of good books for the year. They make it to the long list. This year the long list was really long, like around 150 books or so. Basically they go through and see all of the good books that had huge accolades the year before, and then they make a long list of books, and then they release a short list. And then from there, they take the short list and bet them against each other. They put them in a bracket. It's like March Madness for books. It's great. So these are 3 books that made it to the long list and didn't make it to the short list. Wah, wah. But they're still really good, obviously, or they wouldn't have made it to the long list in the first place. So we're going to talk about 3 of them today. So number 1 in the Morning News' 2017 Tournament of Books long list. Rich and Pretty by Rumaan Alam. This book actually made it to a lot of best of 2016 lists. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Basically, Sarah is rich, her best friend, Lauren is pretty. Together they used to make a whole. Now they kind of find themselves drifting apart. It's painful, it's slow, it's inevitable. It's what happens sometimes when kids grow up. On the one hand, it was kind of poignant, this growing apart. On the other hand, it was kind of static, not that, maybe that's the way it happens with friendships. It's not supposed to be a big showdown where things end in a big explosion. They just kind of fizzle out. How does that poem go? This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. That's how their friendship ends. It's disappointing. I have to decide whether to be disappointed in the book or just disappointed that the friendship ended that way. I haven't completely figured out my feelings on that. And maybe that's why it's more notable than you would think. Number 2, The Nest by Cynthia Dupree Sweeney. I sure hope I said her name right. It has one of those apostrophes, so I don't know if it's D-aprix. That's the way it's spelled. Oh, geez, forgive me, sorry. So The Nest is a big inheritance that each of these kids are supposed to reach once the youngest one reaches a certain age, and then the money gets out of trust, and they all inherit tons and tons of money, and they're rich, rich, I tell ya. Well, of course something happens and that money just flips away into the night. And so all of these kids who had, grown up kind of entitled and spent money that wasn't theirs to spend yet are finding themselves in dire straits and trying to figure out what to do with their lives, how to make up that money, how to clean up these messes that they've made of their adult lives. So The Nest is one of those books that I thought at first would be kind of a shallow slice of life look at a bunch of entitled people who would just fill me with disgust all over again. And I would just have a lot of fun hate reading it. You know those books that you really like to hate read? You get through it and you hate the characters, and you realize about halfway through that you really enjoy hating these characters, and that's where the pleasure in this book is for you, not necessarily in identifying with anyone, but in hating them so passionately. So I thought that that's what I was digging into here with The Nest. But then around halfway through, instead of feeling validated in my hate, I found myself starting to really like these people. They were made more human. Of course they all made mistakes, but I mean, really, aren't they mistakes that a lot of us would have made? I do feel sorry for them. They are in dire straits, but they just seem like they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to clean things up and make a better life. And in so doing, perhaps they learn the greatest lesson of all, that the thing they had of value was each other and not necessarily something you can put a price value on. Cheesy? Number 3 is one that I wouldn't have come to on my own. I got to it specifically through the Tournament of Books long list. It's The Never Open Desert Diner by James Anderson. I'm a little not sure what genre to call it. Western, not really. Suspense, crime, literary fiction. Let's just say it was really, really darn good. In this book, Ben is a delivery driver for a stretch of desert road. But it's not just any desert road. It's a dry, desolate desert road with no frills, no big emotions. It's great. It's kind of a slow burn, so it takes a lot of time setting up the setting, the character, all of the supporting characters. It lets you really settle into the story, and then it starts to turn up the heat slower, 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 bit by bit, until before you know it, you're in a big boiling pot of drama. But even then, they still take it in their same desert way, so they don't start freaking out and screaming. They're still very stoic about all of it. Well, I am not a good fortune teller, so all of the books that I had read that were on the Tournament of Books long list, none of them made it to the short list, not even one. So I've got some catch-up reading to do, and then I'll come back and give you another report of the 2017 Tournament of Books for the morning news.